Okay, so we are getting ready to learn how to draw the sphere in stippling. We don't want to make it huge because stippling takes a long time. We just want to make it big enough to show full range of values, and we want to make sure that our shapes are set up in an interesting way. Think about composition. What are you looking at first, next, and last? These diagonals automatically give you a sense of space, which is really cool. And these lines actually point to this little, these lines, this line here actually points to this little cylinder, which is pretty cool. So practice your circles. And then practice your straight lines. And do all this with your deck tilted up. Nice sharp pencil. And then now you're going to replicate what you see in front of you. Does it matter which one you draw first? What do you guys think? Is it drawn already? Let me see.
Huh? The circles?
The whole, you're going to draw the whole composition.
Oh, right.
Make sure you've got your foreshortening. Pretend like, when you're drawing these shapes, pretend like it's your final, right? So you're going to take everything that you learned into consideration. Except proportionately, my sphere is smaller. Because I don't want, especially like this demo, I don't want it to take forever. If I'm doing my final drawing, I don't want it to take forever. Okay. Sure. On your cylinder, you want to make sure this line and this line have the same curve. No pinched edges. Okay. Now, you think this is it for the circles, but you're actually going to make more circles. I'm going to open my phone to show you. Okay. I need to make another circle that represents the cast shadow underneath. So I'm going to start that circle here and end it here. Okay? And then I'm going to draw it right on top. I want to make sure that it's really curved.
said that.
Okay. Then I'm still going to take my pencil, I'm going to determine where my highlight is and make that a step 1. And then check this out. This is where my step 1 is. I'm going to make rings that go out from my step 1. So this is going to be step 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be gradual. Of stippling. Gradual gradation. So here we go. Feel free to take out your shading sheet. Remember not to like kind of make a dotted line. You're going to kind of make like a circular motion. Be careful not to make raindrops. We talked about all this when we were doing our shading sheets. You don't want to make dashes. I'm at the step 4 right now, so these dots should be getting tighter together. Stippling in a circular motion. Who has a question? Do you have a question? Are you sure? Okay. Don't feel like you've got to rush. Take your time, because we're going to be working on this the whole class period. And it's important that on this last practice, your cylinder, cube, and your sphere are drawn as well as you can possibly do it, because tomorrow we're going to take time to just practice in areas where maybe we aren't as strong, and that'll be unique for all of you. And then Wednesday we'll have our final. So I skipped from my step 4 right over to my step 6. I'm going to make this like really dense. And so feel free to like actually work and not watch me right now, because this would be like really not fun to watch somebody make a million dots. As long as you understand the concept, go from 1 to 6. Gradually spiraling outward. And if your circle looks like a flat tire, you could always just make it a little bit larger. Draw right on top of your drawing. For the final, I'll have whiteout available if anyone makes a mistake. Just white it out. Remember to be doing this in a Sharpie or a pen, right? This. If you're bored already, you may decide to not choose this technique for your pumpkin, because your pumpkins will be bigger than this. You'll have to make it bigger than this to have a full range of values on all of the ribs. Although stipple tends to be the most favorable technique in Art Survey. More students pick stipple than anything else. The question is, how long do you have to do your pumpkin? It depends, because it depends on how long you take. And I say that because I don't give you a due date right away. It's probably, once you learn how to draw the pumpkin, probably about a week and a half. But if people choose faster techniques, it really depends on you guys as a whole. That's how I don't really predetermine due dates, unless it's extremely open-ended, like the individual projects, because otherwise how can you plan, right? So this, I really have to see what technique you're choosing. So in here on Thursday, we're actually going to start drawing pumpkins. I'm getting 17, but I am getting the little ones. You want to make sure your step one is the absolute lightest part. At any time, it might help you to just kind of erase some of your circles. A mistake that people make is they make their circles on their sphere to show each step, and then they're heavy-handed, and then when they erase, they have white stripes going around their sphere. Are you done? And make sure you have a step one, and make sure your circle is really circular. Okay. I'm going to be really picky about that. For some of us, our shading techniques are great, but then we still need to go back on practice day tomorrow and really work on just drawing in perspective, and that's fine. Some people, it's the opposite. But for most people, what we need to work on is foreshortening, or how our circles are drawn. So it should really kind of turn in space. Okay. Now, really hard to make straight lines for a cast shadow underneath something that's rounded, right? So our little trick is to just create some parallel lines to the top and the bottom of our page for our cast shadows. And then that helps us with our cast shadows. I gotta make this really dark so it doesn't compete. Straight lines again. These three objects are going to be on the same page next to each other and on the same material, like meaning your desk material, right? So, so it's really important that, you know, we create the same shadow. Not in shape, but with the lines. Lines gotta all go parallel with the top and the bottom of the page. It's really important. Starting with my step 7 right underneath and working my way out. Okay. I'm ready to erase my pencil and see if I've created that illusion. In the end, on your final, I'm going to ask you to erase all of your pencil. All of your pencil. Except where your name is, if you do that in pencil. Alright? So in the end, we'll have that. And this. And your cube. Although this cube is not done, this would be a step 6, and this isn't done, but in the cube. Here's my done cube and cube, all in the same composition.